ABC 7 News has led the charge in investigating instances of Black and Latino homeowners receiving lowball appraisals. What does that mean? It's when home values come in much lower than expected, and people believe that their race is part of the reason why.
Our race and social justice reporter, Julian Glover, has reported on this for years, taking the concerns all the way to the White House. And he's here now with another story of lowball appraisals, this time, Julian, in East Oakland?
In East Oakland, which is not unlikely for it to happen, right? Because it's a Black and Latino neighborhood, but $340,000. That is the difference between these two appraisals here. And as we mentioned, it happened in a predominantly Black and Latino neighborhood, which is not unusual. What is different here is that this case has resulted in the appraiser and the lender agreeing to make some big changes to how they do business. We're also learning that our reporting has led to new standards by the federal government.
It was December of 2021, in the thick of the COVID-19 pandemic, and interest rates for home mortgage loans were at historic lows. So this East Oakland homeowner, who wants to share her story but not her identity, applied to refinance her mortgage to take out money for home repairs.
What was going through your mind when you received that appraisal that was far lower than you expected it to be?
The first thing I thought was, he doesn't like me because of my race. I wasn't happy with the amount of what he valued my home at. And then I looked at the comps in my area and I knew something was wrong.
The first appraisal came in at $785,000, much lower than a previous appraisal she received. She asked for the lender to reconsider the value. The company sent the report back to the same appraiser, who did not budge.
I was very hurt and disappointed and got upset and cried a little bit. He was discriminating against me because of who I was, and I was single, senior. He felt that my property wasn't of value.
1 month later, the homeowner applied for another loan with a different lender. The appraisal came in at $1,125,000. That's a $340,000 difference. After receiving the higher appraisal, she reached out to the Fair Housing Advocate of Northern California, thanks to her son.
The only thing bringing down the value of my home was me.
Who saw one of my many segments on appraisal bias.
The important thing to do is to take action as soon as possible, because these are short statute of limitations.
Julia Howard Gibbon is the supervising attorney for the Fair Housing Advocates. The group helped the homeowner file a civil rights complaint with the state and eventually negotiated a settlement agreement on the homeowner's behalf with both the initial appraiser behind the low appraisal and the lender. The lender and the appraiser deny wrongdoing. The appraiser, who did not return our request for comment, agreed to pay an undisclosed amount of money to the homeowner, not to discriminate again, and to watch the ABC 7 documentary Our America Lowballed, that chronicles the systemic nature of appraisal bias. The lender, which is not named as a part of the settlement agreement, is making substantial changes to policies and training.
And what we've got the lender in this case to do is to change that policy so that if a homeowner says, I believe this appraisal came in low because of my race or the demographics of my neighborhood, then that has to be reviewed by a different appraiser, right? Not just the appraiser who did the initial report, and we're really excited about that change.
The settlement announcement comes days after the Department of Housing and Urban Development released new guidance on mortgages, standardizing how lenders handle appraisal bias cases.
This aligned process now applies to about 2/3 of the mortgage market between FHA, Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac. What this new policy does is help to equip them with the tools to make sure that consumers are better engaged, the lenders are more prepared, and then, of course, on the back end, there's a lot of tracking here.
The updated policies by the lender and the feds are welcome changes to Jillian White, CEO of Appraisal Insights.
I think the lowball documentary really helped move the conversation away from, is this happening, to this is happening, what should we do about it? Now we're moving into the phase of it's prevalent, there are lawsuits and settlements, and now also definitive action steps that need to be taken by the lenders to really ensure that they're putting up guardrails to prevent this from happening.
And this East Oakland homeowner is now glad she can move forward with her home repairs and her life.
It has to be us standing up for ourselves and letting them know we're not satisfied. Okay, we're not going to take it anymore.
Another encouraging update here. Our previous reporting showed that Black homeowners here in California were 2 times more likely than white homeowners to receive a low appraisal, which could cause a loan to fall through. Well, since our reporting, that number has gone down drastically. The latest numbers recently released show there is barely a difference between how often black and white homeowners receive a lower appraisal in the state. This is, of course, significant progress after years of reporting on this.
Is there technology on the horizon, Julian, that can make the whole process a little more fair and less on the decision of one person?
AI, right? Which we're always talking about at all times. It soon could make its way into the housing space. It's something called a bifurcated appraisal. So one person would go on simply with an iPad or phone, snapping pictures, upload that. It would go through some software. It would get rid of people, pets, and any books, things like that. Another person would then do the actual appraisal, and they would be able to use some advanced AI technology to better judge, and some folks say better judge, the actual value of the home there. So AI could be coming to the home space soon enough.
Yeah. So probably less variation.
Exactly.
It's not going to be a $340,000 gap.
Less subjectivity is the key here.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Julian.
Appreciate it.